Tonight, WWE presents another episode of WWE Friday Night SmackDown on USA Network in the United States and Netflix internationally. It is going to be a major show for WWE as WrestlePalooza weekend kicks off with less than 24 hours to go until WWE's first main roster PLE airs on ESPN. With that in mind, could WWE have some major surprises planned for the WrestlePalooza go-home show? In this video, we're going to let you know 5 possible major surprises that could take place live tonight on Friday Night SmackDown. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling, and tonight's episode of WWE Friday Night SmackDown is the WrestlePalooza go-home episode of the Blue brand, and WWE's historic WrestlePalooza weekend kicks off tonight as SmackDown rolls into Toledo, Ohio at the Huntington Center. Of course, as I mentioned, this is a very high-stakes go-home show before tomorrow night's premium live event, that being WWE WrestlePalooza. All hands are on deck, and there are going to be some major storylines, some major moments, and possibly some major announcements converging for WWE's first ever PLE on ESPN. So with that in mind, could Paul Triple H Levesque and his creative team have some major surprises in store for tonight's go-home show? Let's get into the possible major surprises that we could see, beginning with the Beast, Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is advertised to appear live tonight on WWE Friday Night SmackDown ahead of his showdown with John Cena at WrestlePalooza. Of course, at WrestlePalooza, it's going to be the first time that Brock Lesnar and John Cena have faced off inside the squared circle since 2014. Over a decade in the making is Lesnar versus Cena. Of course, it's also going to be Lesnar's return to in-ring action in WWE for the first time in over 2 years. Of course, he last wrestled at SummerSlam in 2023 in a losing effort against Cody Rhodes. We never saw him again due to a mixture of things. Obviously, one being just dates and a hiatus, but then, of course, mainly because he was named in the Janelle Grant lawsuit against WWE and Vince McMahon. Critically, not a defendant, but was hinted at and then later outright named on several occasions in the lawsuit. But Lesnar will be appearing live tonight on SmackDown. Possibly, maybe, I guess, to give more details as to why he's set to face off against Cena, why he's decided to pick him in Cena's retirement tour, because we still don't really have any real explanation as to why he's been going after John Cena. Now, as far as will John Cena appear, it feels unlikely at this point. Cena has, 6 dates left remaining before he retires, before his retirement match, which is inclusive of those 6 dates in December. That's likely to take place in Washington, D.C. You never know. Of course, Cena is going to be around this weekend in Indianapolis to have the match against Lesnar, but he hasn't been explicitly advertised for tonight's SmackDown. They made a big deal, didn't they, a couple of weeks ago, of Cena's last ever appearance on SmackDown when he had that United States Championship Open Challenge match against Sami Zayn, which Brock Lesnar later interrupted after attacking both Sami Zayn and John Cena. So I don't think we'll probably see or hear from Cena this evening on SmackDown. I suppose you never know, but hopefully we get more of an explanation as to why Brock has done what he's been doing to John Cena in recent weeks. Of course, last time out we had Brock Lesnar appear. He didn't get to say too much before R-Truth interrupted him and they had a bit of a comedy segment and Lesnar laid out Truth. Maybe tonight's the night where we do actually get some form of explanation as to really why Cena's been targeted by Lesnar. Maybe opening up on their history, something like that. We also do know, after Pat McAfee revealed it yesterday on the Pat McAfee show, that Lesnar vs. Cena will be opening WrestlePalooza on ESPN. So the first WWE match to take place on ESPN will be John Cena versus Brock Lesnar. Is that maybe an indicator of where things are going to go? Brock Lesnar has always said, hasn't he, if he's not going to be main eventing the show, he'll want to be opening it because the crowd's red hot, and that means he can get out of the city that he's in very, very quickly. So maybe Brock's doing the same thing there. Maybe that's given an indication as to who's going over at WrestlePalooza. Well, one thing is for sure, Brock Lesnar will be appearing tonight on SmackDown, and maybe the surprise is that he's going to actually reveal the reason why he's decided to go after John Cena in the first place. Now, before we move on, a reminder, this video is brought to you in collaboration with all of our affiliates. That includes the likes of NordVPN and others. You can find out all the details on all the affiliates in the comment section below, where it will be pinned. It'll also be in the video description below, and throughout this video, you'll be able to see them on the sidebar. When it pertains to NordVPN, of course, WrestlePalooza airs on ESPN in the United States tomorrow as part of a brand new media rights deal, moving all WWE main roster PLEs over from Peacock. A lot of people have been saying, I don't know if I could afford another streaming service. Well, you don't have to. If you have a VPN like NordVPN, you can watch all WWE content through your Netflix subscription, like us over here in the UK. We get Raw, SmackDown, NXT, main roster PLEs, NXT PLEs, archive content. We even get to watch Saturday Night Main Event for free on YouTube. And you can too. You can get a VPN. You can change your location to an international territory that supports watching Netflix, all WWE content through Netflix, like here in the UK. And then you can watch it and save yourself some money. You can use our link. You can scan that QR code right there. You can click the link in the video description below. It'll be pinned in the comment section. And you can save yourself some money. If you're in the US, you can get up to 77% off plus 3 months extra, and you can support the channel in the process. Your support is really much appreciated. Now let's move on and let's talk. We spoke about Sami Zayn earlier on. We know that Sami Zayn is going to be defending the United States Championship in another open challenge, except this time we're not going to have to wait to find out who indeed is going to answer the challenge, because this time it's going to be him. Him being Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes is set to challenge Sami Zayn for the WWE United States Championship this evening on SmackDown. And whilst I would be quite surprised if we saw a title change, of course, Sami Zayn has only really held the United States Championship for, about a month, a few weeks? Not really that long at all. So you don't think that Sami Zayn is going to drop the United States Championship. But one thing has been said in recent weeks with these Sami Zayn Open challenges, for example, the one he had last week, is that they're usually sort of the best matches on the show, really. They're the matches that are getting a lot of attention. Everyone's going, I tell you what, I've enjoyed that match, or that was a good match. So I have no doubt that Sami Zayn versus Carmelo Hayes is going to be a really enjoyable one. The disparity between how Carmelo Hayes was booked in NXT on Tuesday versus how he's booked on the main roster will probably be quite apparent once more. But it was The Miz, wasn't it, of course, that actually allowed Sami Zayn's opponent, Carmelo Hayes, to get the victory on NXT. He teamed up with TNA World Champion Trick Williams, actually reuniting with Trick Williams to go up against DIY, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa at NXT Homecoming. Maybe The Miz will once again try to get involved here, and perhaps it's DIY this time that cost Carmelo Hayes the United States Championship. You could possibly see some kind of progression in that feud, couldn't you, whereby maybe it looks like The Miz is going to assist Carmelo Hayes into winning once more, but this time winning the United States Championship. But Ciampa and Gargano come out. They even the play-in field for Sami Zayn, distract Carmelo Hayes, and maybe we get a Helluva Kick and Sami Zayn retains the United States Championship. I could kind of see it possibly going in that direction, couldn't you? Now, could we get an announcement regarding a WWE Women's Championship match at WrestlePalooza? As you can see on the screen right there, that is a shirt being sold at the WrestlePalooza store in Indianapolis, Indiana. And on it, you can see all the different matches that have been announced for the PLE tomorrow on Netflix, internationally, ESPN domestically. But you can also see a triple threat match for the WWE Women's Championship. Champion Tiffany Stratton defending against Jade Cargill and Nia Jax, which would make a lot of sense. Of course, last week on WWE SmackDown, there was a WWE Women's Championship match with Tiffany Stratton defending the championship against Jade Cargill. It was a rematch from their clash at WWE SummerSlam. Now, the match ended in a double countout, and then after that double countout, we saw Nia Jax attack both competitors. Now, in that match, Tiffany Stratton seemingly suffered some kind of head injury, maybe got knocked out, maybe suffered a concussion. We don't really know all the details. There was a spot where it was a moonsault to the outside, and as she was landing on her back, it looked like her neck whiplashed and she hit her head on the mats on the outside of the ring, which of course is very, very thin. Underneath that's usually concrete, so you can knock yourself out or knock yourself loopy, certainly give yourself a concussion very, very easily. Now, Stratton was meant to compete on NXT Homecoming this week. The week prior on NXT, she had appeared alongside fellow former NXT Women's Champions in Rhea Ripley and Stephanie McCur, but because of the injury she suffered on SmackDown last Friday, she wasn't medically cleared to compete on Tuesday. She was later replaced by Lyra Valkyria. Now, as of right now, we don't really know the injury status of Tiffany Stratton since then. We don't know if it was just a case of she'll be fine for WrestlePalooza, but they just wanted to err on the side of caution when it comes to NXT Homecoming. We don't know if it's touch and go, and she's not likely to compete at WrestlePalooza. As of right now, the match hasn't even been officially announced. So one thing's for certain. Coming out of SmackDown tonight, we'll know one way or the other if this match is going down. The most likely situation is it gets announced, Stratton's cleared, and there you go. If there's no announcement, that would probably imply that there's going to be no Women's Championship match, and maybe they save it for the post-WrestlePalooza episode of SmackDown, or just another future episode of SmackDown, something like that. We'll have to wait and see, but as of right now, we don't really have any more information on that. But don't be too shocked if we do get a WWE Women's Championship match confirmed for WrestlePalooza, moving that match card from 5 matches to 6 matches, and it being a triple threat match, particularly after last week's finish to that Women's Championship match between Cargill and Stratton. Let's move on and talk about the American Nightmare, the undisputed WWE Champion Cody Rhodes. He's back. He returned last week on SmackDown, didn't he? Interrupting that match between Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton. It was then later confirmed that indeed Cody Rhodes will be not only at WrestlePalooza, something Paul Triple H Levesque had actually spoiled a week earlier. He said, here's a spoiler for you. Cody Rhodes is going to be at WrestlePalooza. Not only is he going to be at the PLE, he's going to be defending his undisputed WWE Championship at that show against Drew McIntyre. So Cody's back and he's going to address McIntyre. Does any further stipulation get added onto their match at WrestlePalooza? Probably not. I think we could see maybe some tension there with Randy Orton. Of course, he made his save last week, Cody Rhodes, to save Randy Orton. And Randy Orton at one point was lining up for a punt on Drew McIntyre. Referee stopped that. Of course, McIntyre was victorious. But I would probably think Randy Orton is involved in this segment. I mean, he is scheduled for SmackDown this evening. So I think maybe we have some physicality. Of course, we saw physicality between Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre last Friday. And I wouldn't be totally shocked if we saw more. I mean, in storyline, not in reality, but in storyline, Cody Rhodes lost several weeks of his career because of Drew McIntyre hitting the Claymore and kicking him through the announce table. In reality, Cody was in Australia. He was filming his role for the Street Fighter film, where he's portraying Guile. But according to storyline, McIntyre put Cody on the shelf for a long period of time, and Cody Rhodes will probably want to get his pound of flesh in terms of revenge on Drew McIntyre, not only at WrestlePalooza, but possibly as soon as SmackDown this evening. So don't be shocked if things get physical here, but Rhodes is advertised, he will be there, and most likely will come face-to-face with McIntyre. We'll have to wait and see if Randy Orton gets involved in, if that possibly lays the foundations for something big to happen at WrestlePalooza as well this Saturday. We'll have to watch that one very closely. And finally, could we get a surprise appearance from CM Punk and AJ Lee? Now, these guys are contracted to Monday Night Raw, if that still means anything. I mean, the brand split, who even knows when it comes to that. But this is the WrestlePalooza go-home show for SmackDown. And WrestlePalooza will be in just 24 hours' time on ESPN. And CM Punk has hinted that he's going to be around. He did say that, of course, he's going to be in town with WrestlePalooza in Indianapolis. And that he did confirm in a recent interview that he would be around in Toledo, Ohio. Of course, when it comes to WWE wanting as many people to sign up to the ESPN streaming service as possible, they might load up this show. And as I said, just because Punk and AJ Lee and their opponents, Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch, are Raw superstars, it doesn't mean anything. AJ Lee made her return to WWE on SmackDown in a segment that involved Becky Lynch, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins. After AJ Lee was taken out with a manhandle slam this past Monday on Raw, perhaps AJ Lee and CM Punk will want to get a measure of revenge. So perhaps we get a surprise appearance from the World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins and the Women's Intercontinental Champion Becky Lynch. And perhaps they're confronted by a fellow husband and wife team in AJ Lee and CM Punk just hours before their epic clash at WrestlePalooza in a mixed tag team match. So even though it's a Raw-centric match, I think we probably do see, in fact, CM Punk and AJ Lee, at least one of them on the show, particularly after what Punk was saying in that recent interview. So don't be shocked if we get a little bit of a teaser as to what we can expect at WrestlePalooza on Saturday night. So there you go, guys. There are 5 possible major surprises that could take place on tonight's episode of WWE Friday Night SmackDown. Let me know your thoughts, as always, in the comment section below. Which ones are likely? Which ones are unlikely? What are your predictions for this evening's show? Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. As you can see right there, we're getting closer and closer to our target in 2025 to get to 25K. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. And as you've seen throughout this video, you can see it right there. We have got a busy day tomorrow on Saturday. We are going to be live for an AEW All Out watch along, and then we're going to be straight live for a WWE WrestlePalooza watch along, then a WrestlePalooza post show, then an All Out post show. It's going to be a busy day of streaming, a busy day of content, so be sure to subscribe. Click the notification bell. You'll be notified when we go live for every single stream or when a new video gets uploaded. I appreciate everyone for tuning in, as always, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.